turns to an ice skating rink.
Scrap on Outback truckers. It's the Phantom. And Sludge. In a fuel-stop flood.
No, I don't want to be stuck on this bloody road when it gets wet because it just turns to an ice skating rink.
Scrap King Russell battles breakdown after breakdown.
When these things run out of fuel, it takes a hell of a lot to get them going.
On a cross-continent epic. Ready for fight or flight.
Just watch this horse. He has been known to strike.
$1 million load that's hard to handle.
Listen loud to the wind, babe. Listen loud to the rain. Feel that water licking at my feet. Anytime you're wrong, babe, you can come around. Whoa! It's only 6 days separates me and the break of dawn, babe. I've been working hard, 12 hours a day. And the money I'll save won't buy my youth again. I'm going for the heat wave. Whoa! Tropical rain. Yeah, the place where no man's putting rollers on with me. I'm waiting on the weekend. Right. Set a brand new times. And back in the river, just where I wanna be. The first thing you know, I'll be back in the river again.
It's been christened the Phantom. A shiny, loud, look-at-me rig that demands attention wherever it goes.
Everyone looks at the truck and thinks, oh, a nice highway truck. But it's rough. There's nothing flash about it.
With Sludge behind the wheel, it's proved its mettle many times.
It's done a hard job. It's done 1 million Ks of hardcore getting flogged and belted.
Ooh, it's a little belty.
Probably never thought I'd belt it like I do, but to actually be able to prove that you can take a highway truck and beat things senseless, and it still comes home every trip, it's great.
Sludge is about to set off on a 1,500-kilometre trek south, from Perth to farms around Esperance and return.
Esperance has had a real bad year.
Heavy floods have hit the rich farmland hard.
And this has been going on for 6, 8 months. I can't believe this water's still here. And it's like every time you go down there, you never know what you're in for because the roads are just underwater.
With farmers cut off for weeks at a time, Sludge and his 20-ton tanker carrying 55,000 litres of fuel provide a vital lifeline, if they can make it through.
We're going through farmers' paddocks, you know, and they think, oh, yeah, you'll be right, you just duck down through this track. But, you know, 50,000 litres of fuel, 55,000 litres of fuel going down a farm track, it's a lot of weight on a track that's made for a Land Cruiser or a tractor.
A lot of weight. And Sludge's road train is about to get even longer and heavier. It's hauling a third trailer, carrying 18 tonnes of steel.
A mate of mine lost a shed down there last week. Builds big dome-style sheds. We're going to take some coils of sheet metal down there, and in return, they're going to cut all the domes up, and he's going to give me some to go over my containers here at home. So he gets a free load of metal down there and doesn't have to pay for the freight, and in return I get a big dome shelter to go across my 2 40-foot containers. Although I'm getting a shed for nothing, I don't want it to hold my fuel up because we'll end up with farmers running out of fuel just because I'm doing a little perk job for myself. So I've got to be a bit careful that it doesn't bite me in the arse.
They're some of the most sought-after racehorses in the world.
160, I should think so.
Pampered. Precious.
So far, the highest priced horse we've sold is $2 million.
Unpredictable. The yearly Magic Million sale on Australia's Gold Coast brings buyers from everywhere. And when the dust is settled, the horse is sold. The deal's done. It's time for Les Rudd to do his job. Les is part truckie, part horse whisperer. A livestock transporter for more than 20 years. His freight can be frisky, dangerous, and worth millions of dollars.
Whether they're a kid's pony or a $1 million horse out of the Magic Millions, they all mean the same to an owner, you know.
Les is loading up for a 2,000-kilometre run up the east coast of Australia.
Locked and loaded.
He'll be delivering 20 horses to owners between Brisbane and Cairns.
The golden rule to check every tag on every horse. Good kid.
Les has racehorses, breeding mares, horses to be broken in, and people's pets.
This is a little miniature horse. Yeah, it's not all just about racehorse. We got absolutely everything going. You got to put the real little guys in a safe spot so they don't get underneath the other horses.
Les will be away from home for 5 days.
Have a great week. Lovely. Yeah. See you, kids. See you, baby girl.
He's saying goodbye to his kids, but he reckons on a bad trip, his passengers in the back can behave like a bunch of troublesome teenagers.
And you always have both windows down, listening for anything that mightn't be going to travel real well. A lot of horses mightn't even be happy with the horse that they're travelling next to. You don't do something about it at the start of the day, you're going to have grief at the end of the day, you know.
Also playing on Les's mind is a horse he has to pick up on the way.
He's the horse that will get you hurt.
He's been warned. It's a kicker.
He's actually not a bad horse, but for whatever reason, he's got that little bit of in him, a bit friendly with the front feet. It means they'll plug you down the head, you know, with their front feet. They'll actually strike you, you know.
He's just a bit of a nutter.
Russell Crusher McDonough is in trouble. With a dead engine, stranded 100 kilometres from the nearest town.
Yeah, we've run out of fuel. We put fuel in the driver's side tank. It didn't run across quick enough.
Russell's mostly a scrap metal dealer, but he's taken this interstate trucking job to pay for repairs to his new metal crushing machine back in Alice Springs.
We've got a new toy in the fleet and it just needs a bit of love. And with a bit of love comes a need for a couple of dollars.
He's halfway through a 2,000-kilometre freight run, delivering equipment to a mining site in central Queensland. But now he's stuck by the side of the road. Things started to go wrong when Russell stopped earlier to fuel up from backup tanks. But he didn't have the right connection to pump in enough.
Without that, I'm a bit buggered.
And was forced to siphon in what he could.
We've filled up a tank on the back driver's side that has to flow into the next front tank and then across to the passenger side, which is the pickup. And if it doesn't transfer across quick enough, the truck can use more fuel than transfers across.
And now it's run out. Gonna try and bleed the air out of it.
Russell now has the problem of getting his dry engine running again. But the starter motor is powered by compressed air, and there's not enough pressure to turn it over. Using an old trucker's trick, Russell steals air from the tyres. He's already 2 hours behind schedule.
With the air out of that, into the start tank here, we've primed this. A couple of goes, should fire.
Russell's back to square one and getting further and further behind. Sludge is racing to supply fuel to farmers, desperate for a good harvest after extreme flooding. Complicating his task are the 18 extra tons of steel he's delivering free to a friend, who in return is giving him a shed.
It's helping my mate out, and I'm getting something I really need, but it's putting the pressure on us. But I'm getting a $10,000 shed for nothing. and he's getting his freight down there, so sometimes you just got to put up with it, really.
Already running 2 hours late, he gets a call that throws another spanner in the works.
So Stephen Lloyd is out.
The fuel delivery close to where he's dropping off the steel has been cancelled. Now he'll have to drive out of his way.
So now we're going to have to go all the way down to do the shed, when I was actually going down there to do a farm. You call it character building is what they call it. I call it just trying to piss you off.
The extra weight could make his going tough on the waterlogged roads.
They're having a hell of a lot of trouble down here with roads. You know, they don't build roads like they used to anymore. The roads are just falling apart, and we're coming up to our busiest time of the year, which just turns the whole lot to a bloody schmozzle. They're talking more rain down here today, so I'm hoping we're not going to get a wet arse. So I want to get out before it rains, especially with this load.
Up ahead, his first dirt road.
Hopefully it's open, but if it's closed, we've got probably a 30k round trip to get around the other way. No, it's bloody closed. Look at that. Wow.
Closed means more lost time.
Yeah, about 1600k to Cairns and we'll be there.
In Queensland, Les Rudd has a truckload of valuable horses to look after.
They all seem to be behaving themselves so far, so fingers crossed and we'll see how we go.
Ahead is a 2,000-kilometre run to Cairns, picking up and dropping off along the way. His first 2 deliveries are routine.
Good to see you, old mate.
Here's a piece of lemon cake.
Oh, God, you're a doll. I'm trying to watch me figure, mate.
A pony to a long-standing client.
Johnny, how are you, mate?
The second to a horsebreaker for training.
He's green, this fella, eh? But he's all right.
But the next stop won't be as easy.
Oh, well, this bugger's not going to get me.
This one comes with a warning.
Yeah, just watch this horse. He has been known to strike.
Bitter experience has taught Les the dangers of the job.
I got struck down the head once years ago loading a horse down the Gold Coast. Similar sort of thing. It was a real quiet horse. He struck me straight down the head. Before I could blink an eye, he just got me. And to leave the truck parked in the street and down to the hospital and 15 stitches in my head. The joys of transporting horses. We're not just truck drivers. We've got to deal with the people and the horses and the individual properties. You're not sort of just loading out of one depot and driving to the next depot.
On arrival, Les gets the warning again.
You have to be a bit careful around him.
Okay, mate.
He has been known to strike.
Okay.
Jerry gets a little bit excited when he's getting caught. He's not naughty. Talk to him nicely and he'll be fine. A bit haunted, that's all.
Bit friendly with the front feet. So this one could be a little bit interesting. Yeah, lady said can be a little bit friendly with the front feet, so it means that horse might rear and strike sometimes. Just don't get too close to this one.
The signs aren't good. Even with its owner, it's skittish.
They roll back, mate, so they don't run over you.
Les will need all his skills to convince this unpredictable animal to come quietly. Russell Crusher is stranded by the side of the road. In stifling 40-degree heat. He can't get the starter motor to turn over enough to get the engine running.
When these things run out of fuel, it takes a hell of a lot to get them going.
Russell needs to find more air pressure to drive the truck's starting mechanism. The answer is sitting on the trailer behind him. He can tap into the grader's supply. And with some more massaging, at last. Ignition. Russell's lost valuable time, but at least he's moving again.
I usually get myself out of trouble, especially since I'm usually the one that gets myself into trouble.
Carrying his own fuel can create dramas, but it squeezes maximum profit from every run.
Fuel's quite cheap when there's no work around, and then when there seems to be plenty of work, fuel's dear. And what I've done is when the fuel's cheap, I buy it, then when I get a job, I've already got the cheaper fuel. Just a little bit of mucking around, but you know, savings of hundreds of dollars. But that was just through a bit of bad luck. We didn't have that correct fitting with us. Otherwise, there would have been a fuel transfer happening all the way along here. Anyway, can't cry over spilt milk. Job's done, we're going, it'll be right.
But already over 2 hours behind, Russell hits another problem. Belching black smoke is a bad sign.
I can just pick a slight smell of it, just a slight hint of it in the mirror.
The last thing Russell wants is another stop, but he has no choice. An engine fire would be far worse.
Look at that. Wow.
In the grain-growing farmlands of southwestern Australia,
We won't be going down that road this year, I'd say.
closed roads have forced tanker driver Sludge onto a detour that's thrown his plans into chaos.
I don't want to end up bloody stuck down here.
He still hasn't made his first delivery, and the third trailer loaded with 18 tonnes of rolled steel is making the drama worse.
I don't want all the coils covered in mud, so we'll just drop it off here. And I have to come back and pick it up, so that's going to be another hour bloody wasted. Oh. No, this should have been a nice, easy trip. You're doing something to make life easy, and it just turns again, bites you in the arse.
Sludge's GPS doesn't tell him what roads are flooded or the best route around them, so it's map time.
17 k's back. 17 k's is a long way.
Sludge will have to come back later for his trailer.
Oi, my little trailer.
Right now, his priority is his customers.
I haven't really got any time to waste. Look, looks like we got another road closure.
The road's closed, but Sludge is in a hurry, so he's rolling the dice.
Road's closed.
Maybe he can get through.
Let's hope we don't have to do a U-E up here and go back out the other way. You can see the velocity of the water's come through and just cut half the road away. So there's a lot of rain to come down to do something like that. We're all right up here on top of it, but if we get down into the waters and the hollows down here, the road surface will be soft because we are 50, 70, 80 odd tonne. So if we break through, we just disappear.
Sludge might be in luck. The road in front is dry and good. It looks like his gamble has paid off. Until this.
That's the end of that.
Just don't get too close to this one. Stay well back.
Horse transporter Les Rudd has a difficult customer to deal with. A half-ton horse who's not in the mood for travelling.
Said to me, just one of them haunted.
Yes, he's just haunted. It's just catching him.
He appears less agitated, but he still has to be put on the truck.
They'll be on me for a minute.
Les has been around horses since he was 3.
Yeah.
They'll be on me for a minute.
And he has the touch.
Not here to hurt you, old mate. Come on, bud. You wouldn't get a better horse in the bush, some of them, mate. Bloody amazing. Yeah, old fella. Anyway, he loaded well, so that's good, because I'm too old and fat and it's bloody hot, so I was pretty happy about it when he walked straight on the truck, I can tell you.
But Les still has a long way to travel with this horse.
The thing about that fella, you've got to keep him in the back of your mind, because we got another 2 days with him, because he's going right through to the table ends. Like, I'll put him away in the stables tonight, I've got to remember him in the morning. You know, I'll march into the stable bloody too quick in the morning in the dark and forget about him, and bang, he's got you, you know. Might strike you down the bloody head and bust your head open. I'll be keeping one eye on him for the trip.
With the haunted horse playing on his mind, Les drives 600 kilometres to his next stop, delivering a racehorse to a local trainer.
Hey, old mate. How you going, brother?
I'll just put him out in this yard here under the shed.
And off to a stud farm to drop a mother and foal.
All righty, we'll go get all these ladies off. You don't like following mum too much. Yeah. Where are we going, Di?
12 hours is the longest a horse can be in the trailer on the road, and Les doesn't want Jerry the kicker more worked up than he already is.
As the next couple of days goes on, he'll learn to trust me, but at the moment, the only person he remotely trusts is that lady that just caught him for me there, so... And he still pulled away on her and landed out the other side of the yard.
All the horses have to be stabled overnight, which means Les's last job of the day is unloading them.
Hope our little mate, the last one we picked up, still being friendly.
Starting with the kicker, and he doesn't seem all that relaxed.
Hey, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, mate. Whoa, Dora. Whoa. Whoa.
In northern Queensland, Russell stopped again. Bonnet up by the side of the highway. Smoke drifting from underneath the engine.
I think we disturbed it just while I was up there using the primer.
One of his fuel lines is leaking, spraying diesel everywhere.
And I must have like bumped it and it's cracked it and split it and now it's just leaking fuel. These motors return a certain amount of fuel back to the fuel tank, and this hose here just transfers that fuel from one side to the other. It's gone brittle and hard, and, you know, there's a name for it, but we'll just call it not very good.
If he'd ignored it, things could have turned serious.
The fan was blowing it back onto the turbo, and so the fuel was hitting the turbo and then, you know, then it's creating smoke. It's a good idea to get on top of it because when the going gets really tough, that turbo gets really, really hot, and it possibly would get hot enough to ignite the diesel leak. Then it could have got really bad.
Russell doesn't have a spare fuel line, but he does have 30 years of experience as a bush mechanic. He has something similar in his toolbox, but it's for compressed air, not diesel.
This is airline that I'm using here now. It'll be good enough.
It's a risk. If it breaks and sprays diesel on the hot engine, there could be a fire. But out here, Russell doesn't have much choice.
It is airline, not fuel line, but we'll just hope that it's sort of like high temperature resistant. Inevitably, there is usually something else that can do two jobs, right? You might not have exactly what's needed, but there'll be something else somewhere on this truck that will fix the problem. We've spotted it, we just lifted the bonnet again, we fixed it, bonnet's down, we're going again.
Russell still has 200 kilometres to go to his destination. His giant rig relying on a tiny air hose, doing a job it's not designed for. He survived 2,500 kilometres and makes it to his first drop-off. At this depot, all he has to do is unhitch a trailer. But the next stop won't be nearly as easy. This road roller has to come off. It weighs 12 tonnes, and getting it from the tray to the ground will be a nightmare.
That is the end of that.
Sludge's fuel delivery run has hit more trouble.
I'd say that road's pretty much sort of closed, really. The amount of water that's on that.
He gambled this road would be open and found a river running through it.
Oh, well, it's called time management shot up the arse.
And when you're a 25-metre long B-double, reversing out of trouble is a truckload of work.
I love U-turns. It's like a hole in the head. So at least I can turn around here. I don't have to back 10 kilometres. That's what you call a classic waste of 30 kilometres.
It's a serious setback. 2 roads tried, 2 roads closed. Sludge should have made 3 of his 6 deliveries by now.
The pressure's on to supply them and get it in there.
He hasn't made any.
If we don't get the fuel in, the crops will be ready to go, and then they've got no fuel, so they can't run the machines.
And he'll lose more time reattaching the trailer with the steel coils he just parked up.
I was hoping to see this trailer in about 2 or 3 hours' time, not in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. You win some, you lose some. You just lost one. Every time I have to hook and unhook this today is going to piss me off, but then I'm just going to have to remember that it's for me. I'm doing this for a new shed.
He'll have to take the troublesome third trailer with him while he finds a way through to his next stop.
I love getting bogged. It just excites me to death. Here we go again. Let's have another go at this. Yeah, we've got no road closed on this. This is the start. But pretty much this is the last option. There is no other road. The last time I was down this road, it was underwater down here as well.
No water this time. His first break on a trip that's been threatening to fall apart.
It's only 2 hours later, and we've made our first drop. So it's a waste of 2 hours. So 2 hours tonight gone. The joy of being a truck driver.
Sludge still has 5 deliveries to go.
Scotty Lawrence, 4,000 litres and some ULP.
But the water is not finished with him yet.
You go right through that mud.
Another bog hole. It could be nothing, or it could ruin his day. Sludge has lost enough time. He's going through. After a nightmare trip, slowed by fuel and engine problems, Russell is within a few kilometres of his final destination.
Well, we've been 2,500 kilometres getting here. We're going to be here for about half an hour and then turn around and head all the way home.
The truck may have taken a beating, but the expensive machinery on the back is in good condition.
You might think it's pretty hard to break a grader, but you've only got to get near a load tree or a branch, and you can take out a windscreen. If you've encountered somebody going the other way too far, you hit a rock, break the glass. Yeah, we're on the tail end of it now.
Russell's happy, but he's got one last test.
It's all there. We just got to get it to the ground, and we're done.
The big grader is on the trailer with the ramps. But the 12-ton road roller isn't. It means Russell will have to make a bridge between the 2 trailers so he can drive the roller across and then down the ramps.
Well, what we're doing here, just a little bit of a safety. We just tie this trailer to this trailer. Because when I bring that machine there, across here, if for some reason the 2 trailers get apart, it could end up messy.
A 12-ton road roller having to cross a makeshift bridge. If anything fails, Russell's journey could end in tears. It's job done. After 3 trying days, Russell can relax.
Feels really good that we're here now. We've successfully unloaded everything. There's not a broken windscreen. There's not a mark on anything. It's quite satisfying that they're on the ground now. So they're delivered. My job with this on this mission is completed.
This job will give Russell the money he needs to repair his metal crusher back home in Alice Springs. But the Alice is 2,000 kilometres away, which means another long drive for this Outback trucking warrior.
It's safe to say that I'm a bit like my truck. We're both a bit old, we're both a bit rough around the edges, and we both are fairly used to doing it hard in the bush. With this old girl, you can replace parts. Yeah, with me, when they're worn out, they're worn out.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
In Queensland, Les is about to tackle what can be the most dangerous part of the job. Unloading a horse with a reputation
Certainly got a little way about you, haven't you?
for suddenly striking out.
Whoa, whoa, it's okay. It's okay.
A horse that's been confined to a strange place for hours.
Oh, buddy. Oh, now. Oh, now. Oh, pal. Oh, don't be so nervous. Oh, pal. Whoa, whoa now.
Les will need all his horse whispering skills to stop Jerry from getting even more agitated. Coming down the ramp, sensing freedom, is when these animals can turn dangerous. Thankfully, his next passenger promises to be a little easier.
Oh, my little mate. Go over the side. Come on, mate. Good kid. That's day one done and dusted. I'll just clean the horse out of this trailer. So about the last job of the day. Quite a good bloody day.
Next morning, with the horses and Les rested,
Hey, old buddy.
it's time to get back on the truck, and that means another encounter with wild card Jerry,
Hey, old fella.
who may or may not be happy with the early wake-up.
Hey, old fella. Hey, old fella. Hey. Hey, now. Hey, now. Come on. You like showing the whites of the eyes, old fella, don't you? It's all right. We're going to have a good day, aren't we? Waking up with the right attitude today anyway. Just his normal snorty self as we expected, but he's going to be all right. Come on, old bud. You're a bloody good horse. I was talking to your new owners last night. She's very excited to see you today. Come on, bub. Let's go. Whoa, Jesus. You always have a couple of favourites on a trip, and he's one of my little favourites. And I reckon by the time that old haunted fella gets up to the table, Landsy, he'll be my favourite too, I think.
When you're a truckie delivering horses, there's one thing you want to make sure you get right.
Yeah, it's just gold to read and read and read tags. You'll notice every time I'm walking up a door of a truck or in a stable, constantly double-checking tags. Pretty embarrassing. You turn up somewhere and someone's expecting a little miniature and you bring out a racehorse for them, you know, or vice versa. We're probably 50-50 of racehorses on these trucks. Miniatures, quarter horses, stock horses. We got one of pretty well every breed, you know.
Today, Les has 700 kilometres to travel, with multiple drop-offs along the way.
Hey, pretty girl.
At each stop, excited owners taking delivery of their new pets.
Yeah, there's the fella out of Chris Lee's.
And thoroughbreds.
They're all totally different, you know. You got the highly strung race horses like that, and then you got the beautiful little kids pony just before that we dropped off.
Next drop is the miniature pony.
I'll just pass this little one out the window to you as I drive past, eh?
It should be the easiest, but Les has a problem.
The concern's the spot we got to drop it off. We can't get the semi into the property, which is quite normal, but there's not a hell of a lot of area to pull off. We sort of be right on the edge of a pretty busy road, getting the little guy out. Parked right on the fog line of the busy road, you don't want to be sitting there too long. We might end up with a car in the back with the horses.
Crossing roads with horses is asking for trouble.
I've had them even shy at the white line, you know, in the middle of the road. And all of a sudden you stand there in the middle of a bloody road and the horse won't lead across the white line, traffic coming.
When Les gets to his drop-off spot, it's worse than he imagined.
Yeah, just got to pull up on the edge of the road here. We're on a bend. We're not in the best spot here. Certainly nowhere else to go here. We've got to get this little locky out the back here and the traffic won't stop here. Breaking the traffic just to get out of the truck. A pretty ordinary strike. A blind bend, double white line.
He has to work fast and hope the traffic doesn't spook the little pony.
Hello, Lockie. Now, Lock, we got no buggering around getting across this road, mate. Don't you push me in front of a car. Truck coming.
Tanker driver Sludge is battling flooded roads.
If it's like that, I tend to normally zoom through a little bit. I just don't like getting everything wet and dirty. I don't have to.
He's well behind schedule, racing to deliver fuel to farms in time for the harvest.
It's a hard time of the year, you know, like you push yourself to the limit all the time. Today we've got 6 drops, so we'll stop, we'll start, we'll bloody run around. We've got petrol as well today, so 6 drops is not just 6 of diesel. We've got 3 or 4 drops of petrol. So you've got to change your pumping gear to the other one. So it all takes time.
Putting extra pressure on his schedule is the favour he's doing for a friend.
We're going to head down towards Esperance, drop this off to me mate. They're going to unload it for us and reload it, and I'll go out and do some more fuel deliveries.
At the mate's place, Sludge is finally able to rid himself of those heavy steel rolls. At last, he has an empty trailer.
Next time we see this, it'll have my new shed on it.
But there's still one fuel delivery to go. Sludge is way behind and needs to get it done in a hurry. But once again, the weather is threatening to stop him.
Got a big storm going through out there. There's more weather coming in, so I don't want to be stuck on this bloody road when it gets wet because it just turns to an ice skating rink.
There's bitumen a few kilometres ahead, and it can't come soon enough.
We've only got a few k's left to get off this road because it's starting to get a bit slippery. Very stunning bit of bitumen this. It's only one lane, but it's better than the muddy we were just on. At least it's not slippery. Now we're just about out on the last farm in captivity, really. There's only probably one more farm beside them and then start heading out onto the Nullarbor.
Last fuel drop completed. Sludge has only one job left. Pick up his trailer and the free shed that's caused him all the grief, if it's ready. And it looks like it is. Loaded and set for the journey home.
Here she goes. She's on a good backer. Take that, Yogi.
But before he goes, one favour deserves another.
Just got to fill this larrikin's truck up with fuel and then I'm done. So everyone's happy. Chris has got his stuff down there. I've got my free shed. How more happy could you be?
Finally, he can head back to Perth.
Party time!
There's no pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, just a trailer load of tin, and that suits Sludge just fine.
Woohoo!
Les is trying to get this miniature pony across a busy road. On a blind corner, with speeding traffic. And a horse that could get halfway across and then decide to stop.
I'll bring him over to you, mate.
Timing his run will be critical.
Good on you, buddy. See you, old mate. Take care. See you, bud. guess the size he was, I probably could have picked him up and put him under my arm and run across the road with him.
Next overnight stop, stables in Townsville. For Les, this is where it all began.
That little old block of stables you can see right there. If there, that's where we lived when I was a kid. Yeah, my dad trained racehorse and I was only a little tiny fella on my goat cart, and I come up the middle of them stable block one day and a big old stallion racehorse he had his head over the stable door and he picked me up out of the goat cart and nearly scalped me, he did. About 3-year-old, I think, yeah.
Not the best memory to have when you're about to go another round with Grumpy Jerry.
We, old fella, we now. Come on, man. Get that bug-eyed look out of you. Ooh, put him outside. He'd be happier outside, this old fella, than locked up in a stable. I told you he'd love me by the end of the trip. Ooh, he's very antisocial.
Next morning, it's up before the sun, with 900 kilometres to travel. Grumpy Jerry meets his new owners today, but he's not in a great mood.
I think he don't like early mornings, other than not liking people. I think he hates early starts, because he snorted and farted and blew snot at me, and I thought, hello, we're back to square one.
So far, every drop-off has gone without a hitch, but Les has been around long enough to know that can change in an instant.
You right, Dale?
Yeah, all good.
Oh, bugger, he took fright. No, that's all right.
The next delivery could be just as scary. That will be his old mate, Jerry, and Les hopes that last horse hasn't given him any ideas.
There's normally one mongrel or, you know, one that's going to give you a bit of a hard time, but now we got my old mate, Friendly Jerry, the grumpy horse. He's the next drop-off to his new owner, so that's going to be a ball of joy for them. And, yeah, we'll see how the lovely lady goes giving old Jerry a cuddle g'day.
Jerry's owner has waited weeks for this moment.
I didn't sleep last night, I was so excited.
We've come to the end of the journey for old Grumpy Jerry.
Les is hoping it's a fond farewell.
I hope he minds his manners and is nice and civil to his new owner. You've just become my old mate, haven't you? Whoa. All righty, Jerry. Come on, my old mate. He's so odd. I actually love him. I actually love him. He's been great.
For Grumpy Jerry, it's grumpy no more. A new home, new owners, and new adventures ahead. For Les, it's another successful delivery in one of the toughest jobs there is.
Oh, Grumpy Jerry. He got to where he had to go and never hurt me or anyone else, so no harm was done by old Jerry.
Well, the water's sitting on the road, just making it quite nice and slippery. One wrong little move and we could end up bogged. I haven't heard about the road yet. I have heard it takes 7 hours to do the last 50 kilometres.
We're nearly into enemy territory. I am now the mangy dog that's in the lion's den.